Dick, 30 years on from the 1983 James Hardy 1000, celebrating an interesting weekend for you with a retro livery on the car. What are your memories of that event? Because obviously there was a bit going on.
There was plenty going on, obviously, and even to this day, I think with YouTube and that, it's probably one of the most played videos you'll ever see of the qualifying lap and ending up in the trees. But be that as it may, it was an event for us, which was a lot of hard work for the team because we ended up putting another car together for the Sunday race. It didn't go as well as what we had hoped, just for a minor thing like a fuse that blew and the battery kept going flat. But other than that, it was a hell of an effort for the guys to even get the car back on the grid. But that's the nature of the work ethic of these guys, and certainly the nature of what we feel as though we should give back to the fans.
Even the trip back to the workshop for the original green stuff didn't work out too well either, did it?
No, that was another. You know, when you're having what I suppose Pink would call an S weekend, that certainly was, because not far out of Bathurst here, the F-150 that we borrowed and with a trailer and the remains of what was left of the green stuff car in the back end up rolling and going through a farmer's fence and all sorts of things. So. Yeah, but anyway, they're the sort of things that happen, and you just got to pick yourself up and go forward.
You're going to have a bit of a pedal of this 84 championship winning XE around the mountain this weekend. Looking forward to that?
Yeah, I am actually, because the car is in the same condition it was at the end of Bathurst in 1984. So nothing's been really touched except to make sure that the safety aspect of obviously the brakes and things like that we've overhauled, but other than that, it's just the way the engine finished back in 1984.
You obviously drove a pretty big variety of cars here over the years. What were the sort of hallmarks of one of these compared to, say, the V8 supercars that you stepped out of at the end of your career?
They're a totally different thing to drive, because we're the cars of today, and the cars we had back in the late 90s, you could actually drive the things flat out all day, where these particular cars were fragile in a lot of areas, so you had to look after the brakes, you had to look after your transmissions and things like that. The engines were pretty good, didn't really have any problems there, but there was always something there that you had to look after. So you had to be sort of mechanically kind to the vehicle rather than sort of get out there and beat the hell out of it like they do today.
Obviously, there was a lot of positive fan reaction to the True Blue car last year, and obviously by the media attendance here, it's pretty popular to bring back green stuff. Are you sort of more aware of the fan engagement with your team over the last few years that have maybe been a bit more difficult than it was in the Shell days and whatever, when you had clearly pretty good funding?
Well, I think that shows you that the Australian people like sort of underdogs, and we've been up and down and round for some years now, but we're still here. And one of the main reasons we're here is because of the support we get from those fans that are out there, whether they be Ford fans, Holden fans, or just motor racing fans. It's just one of those situations that our team's always had a good connection with the fans, and that's something I want to keep.
And lastly, of course, there's a motor race going on Sunday. What do you reckon the boys can do in this car?
Look, it's anyone's race. You know what this race is like. Obviously, there are favourites that go into this event, but in saying that, anything can happen to them too. So we've come here as best prepared as we possibly can. The guys are fairly green because they haven't done a long-distance race here before, but I think they'll do a pretty good job as long as we can sort of coach them along and make sure that they stay in their comfort zone and just come up with a damn good result, which I think they're more than capable of.
So Chaz, you obviously weren't born in 1983 when these cars were running around, but what do you know about the green stuff legend?
I guess I had a pretty big accident in 83, and the crew did a fantastic job to try and salvage and do the best they could. And I guess a bit early for me, but it's fantastic to be part of such a legendary, iconic team, and looking back at all the history and learn the stories from Dick.
You're actually creating a bit of history yourself this weekend, being the first guy since 1960 to come in here as a race winner for their debut at the Great Race. Is there a bit of pressure on you to get a result?
I guess not really. No one's really put any pressure from DJR. These guys are just happy to be involved in racing out there, and if you get a result, it's just a happy family. Getting I guess the goods. But my goal for this weekend, I'd love to be in the top 10 at the end of the weekend. It's a long race and a lot of things are going to go right. So fingers crossed we can achieve that.
What are going to be the keys to getting that result? Is it just staying out of trouble or just tuning the car for the end? What's sort of the focus?
I guess on my mind, one, staying out of trouble, two, just maintaining the car and try not to, break it before you get to the end, and obviously being qualifying in top 10 shootout, it would be fantastic to be up there and not having to wait all race to try and get in that top 10.
You managed to do a 7 around here last year in quali in the DVS car. Any ideas what these will do?
No idea, to be honest. I was pretty lucky to get a 7 last year, and I rubbed my eyes a few times when I saw the time come up to make sure it was real. But I'm not too sure. Hopefully they're pretty similar speed to last year, and the cars this year seem to be proving that. So hopefully we can see another 6 out there from someone else, or hopefully me would be really nice.
And obviously Dale Wood, your co-driver, is leading the DVS points at the moment. Do you think you've got one of the real picks of the co-drivers?
Yeah, for sure. He'll be double duty in this weekend. He's obviously shown lots of speed this year in DVS, so it'd be fantastic for him to get out there, get a result in DVS, and hopefully carry it on Sunday into our car.